Hey, my YouTube friends. Good work on the 69 Nova. Recently, we've done retrofit of forward bucket seats in the Nova. We've done replaced the shifter, and last time we completely refurbished the front suspension. So it was all new bushings, ball joints, etc. In fact, my shop is an absolute mess. I really need to clean up. I've got tools, I got bits of coil laying there, the shocks that came off the car, etc. I think I probably should do a little bit of cleaning in here before I really get to work. But let's take a look at the list and see what we've got going on here today. So looking at the list, the front suspension has been rebuilt. Our brakes, I replaced that brake hose, so those are working just fine. Now I do need to add, we need to do the idler arm, and one of the tie rods still needs done. So those two items still need to be done on the front end, but the front suspension is rebuilt, the brakes are working. What we're gonna end up doing here today is we're gonna replace the valve covers. The heater core is just a bypass. The bypass on there we're not too happy with, so I got a better piece to do that. And we're gonna fix the intake oil leak. Another thing that's not on here that's gonna be in tandem with this stuff is we have a noisy rocker, which I'm hoping it's just a noisy rocker. So that's what we're gonna try and figure out and see if what's going on with that. So I'm hoping it's just a matter of doing some adjustment on the rockers. And so I think we're gonna go ahead and get this down and also do some cleaning. And oh my God, look at the spider webs. Jeez, I'm gonna have to do some pest control in here too, apparently. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so I think the first thing I want to do is address the noisy rocker. And so I think that's going to be pulling these valve covers off. And I'm going to rotate the engine and adjust each of the valves. And then we're going to see what that does. Now that I got the valve covers off, I was just messing around here. And I mean, that's kind of typical until I do a rotation and get this where it needs to be and make an adjustment. But this is the one that's got me concerned. I think that's the one that's making all of our noise. So hopefully we don't have a collapsed lifter. But we're going to rotate that because this intake valve is opening. So we got to get this in between. So I'm going to start rotating this engine, doing this adjustment. All right, we're going to take our power lead off, so we'll be able to turn the engine over. Now it looks like number one, we're both of those valves are closed, so it should be safe to go ahead and make an adjustment on those. Usually you would pull that up and then give it a half turn. There we go. Okay. All right. Putting the valve covers back on, I just simply went around, took a little bit of the slack out one. There wasn't any tension on the rockers. Probably not the best way of doing it, but it's not like I really wrenched down on it or anything like that. I was trying to take some of that slack out. But I really think it was that rocker, the exhaust rocker, back air on number 7. though all of them seem to loose, but who knows what the mileage was on this engine. We got it off a marketplace for $500, came out of a truck. It was a wrecker, so I'm sure it was a replacement engine. In fact, I know it was because it was a 60 something, like a 68 Chevy pickup, and this is a 79 engine. But you figure some wear on the cam, maybe some a weak lifter, so you're gonna have that. There's gonna need to be a little bit of adjustment. So again, I just took a little bit of the slack out. I didn't want to do anything crazy. I probably should have gone around and properly rotated the engine, and there was no tension on them and then doing it, but it would be a lot easier to do that with the intake off, and then I could see where the lifters were and make sure that they were not on any of the cam lobes. All right, let's see what this thing sounds like now. Hook our ignition wire back up here. It does. See what it sounds like. We are on the battery side. Yes. Oh, it's not squirting any fuel yet. Carb cleaner, that'll do it. Starter is not happy. I really don't like that starter. It's on this thing. Come on, pull the fuel up. Seriously. All right, now we should be good. Quiet now, no tapping. No tapping at all. Quieted it right down. Much quieter. No tapping at all. Now, I'd like to find exactly where that oil leak is. I'm still not convinced that it's coming from the front of that intake. All before I do this intake, I think I'm going to wipe everything down, check the oil level, and then run this a little bit and see if I can locate and make sure that it's actually leaking out of the front of this intake, because I am not going to go through that whole process if I don't have to. Well, did a nice little 15-minute road trip here, and revved her a number of times, got her good and warm, and I don't see any oil laying on top of this engine anymore. What I wound up doing is I put a breather cap back here because we didn't have anything on that valve cover, and I'm darned if I think that might have been the case. But I mean, it was just so wet on the front of the engine. I guess the fan was pulling all that oil forward, and it was just collecting in this area. But since I wiped everything down and ran it, everything's nice and dry. But I did have something odd after I shut the car off. The generator light was on. I came out here, disconnected the battery, and I heard a click over here. So I think it's the voltage regulator. It smells like something electrical burning, and it's throwing off a lot of heat. So fix one problem, find another. So I guess I'm going to pull that open and see what's going on there. Start burning things up. Smells like something electrical. Maybe I didn't get that socket. It's really hot. I really don't want to touch it with a bare hand. Ooh. Phew, that smells pretty bad. Why is it wet? Is it was melting? Phew. Yeah, it looks a little melty in there. I wonder if this is part of our charging problem. Whew. That stinks. All right. Update. Managed to go ahead and get a replacement voltage regulator, so got that installed. Did a test on the charging system. It was charging, but it was a bit weak, so wound up replacing the alternator with a used unit. So I had a couple laying around my loft, and that one there obviously is no good. Actually, it's making quite a bit of noise there. This one here might have been good, but since it had the double pulley and didn't really need that, went with this other one that was just a single groove, and put that one on, and that one here is charging. It's still not as strong as I'd like it to be, but it is better than the other one, so I'm gonna call that done. So this thing is still a bit warm. I'm gonna let this cool, and then I'll come back in, and I'm gonna swap out these valve covers for the chrome ones. One of the things I wound up doing was the gasket set, made in China, lovely. Didn't fit very well, so here you can see my solution. Just used a little bit of the old Indian head gasket glue, and I just put that on and set my cork gasket on, and then used a couple nuts and bolts to hold this down, so that way it'll hold its shape. But I had to stretch it a little bit to get these holes to line up, but it was all over the place. This way, when I put it on, it's going to stay in place. It's not going to squeeze out anywhere. Well, while the engine cools down, I think I'll work on something else, though it's not that critical. I'd like to put this trunk emblem on. As you can see, these multiple holes. This is a 68 trunk lid, so it would have been the Chevy 2 that would have been here. So trying to figure out exactly where this placement goes. And I pulled up a picture on Marketplace of a 69 that was unrestored, that was up for sale. And you can see where this placement is. So it looks like it's right, this divider between the brake light and the reverse light, look like that lines up right in this space right here. So I think that's where I'm going to end up going. And then it's almost level with the bottom. It practically is. So I think it's going to be about like that. So not an exact science. I think we'll be pretty good. Now if I sit right on top of those, that would be too high. There's a lot of plastic. I dropped in fast. There's a lot of plastic filler on there. Might be not quite right. Good enough. We're going to move on to the next project and see if we can do something to cover up this back speaker deck. We cut a piece of cardboard to cover the deck. So we're going to see if a seat cover will fit over that. I think we got to cut a little bit of this stringy stuff out of here. Yeah. Yeah, there they are. I'm hoping if we just make a couple cuts in it, it'll
free it up.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab that other end. Let's just see what it does. Shouldn't be too bad. Oops, I got some on the driveway. All right. All right, now what I want to do is I want to start with the center. About right like that.
I'll just let you work it. Yeah, you said hopefully it don't look too bad.
Yeah.
It'll still be better than nothing.
All right, what does it look like?
I don't know.
Dirty?
Dirty. It needs to get vacuumed off then. Yeah, boy, well,
Yeah.
once you get it.
Because this is going to go behind the seat.
Right.
Might not look too bad. It might actually look like a speaker deck.
That's what I like what the speakers would be.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get the vacuum out. I still got to cut the little bit of that end off down there.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It's good. All right. In we go. Time to see how this redneck fix looks. A lot better than it looked before.
You can say, yeah. Not better than seeing the holes.
I'll get this. All right. Yeah, that looks good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks a heck of a lot better. Would have been nice if we could have painted that back deck, but still, at least it's not cardboard and old worn out speakers.
Oh yeah.
Pretty happy with the way everything came out, and I think that's all I'm going to end up getting done on my brother's 69 Nova at this point. Let's take a look at our list. So we got the valve covers replaced. We did that heater core bypass. I didn't show you that, but it's taken care of. It's as simple as, you know, it was just a fitting, no big deal. Wasn't the intake oil leak. It was instead that breather cap. So we're all good to go there. Rear quarter, we just blew a little bit of paint on that to cover that up. So that's taken care of. This wasn't important, that wasn't important, and we did get the trunk emblem on, so I'm good with that. So the only thing that's not done is some steering parts, which he can handle doing those in the other garage, so that's not going to be a problem. Same way with the other simple fender bolt deal. So I think I can finally wipe that from my board. So that's going to end up taking me to my next project, which is the Pontiac, my 71 Pontiac. I have to do some work to get that ready for the same car show. So if you want to see more on the Pontiac, well, that'll be coming soon. And if you're not a subscriber, well, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. It's real simple. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit that little button that says subscribe. If you want to know as soon as a new video is up, all you have to do is hit the bell and you'll get an immediate notification. every time I upload a new video. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this work being done on the 69 Nova. If you'd like to see it in person, I'm going to be at the York, Pennsylvania Street Rod Show. That is coming up June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So you can see that as well as the 71 Pontiac. So that's going to do for this video. Thanks for watching.